My two members are right here, Kiki and Misaela.
The underlying challenge in today's society is everybody we know is fighting at least one mental illness. American writes it off as land of the free, prompting that we have liberty, life, and the pursuit of happiness. One cannot simply feel free when they are caged in their own thoughts trying to survive in a capitalist world. Mental illness does not discriminate based on your age, gender, wealth, or even health because it targets everybody and anybody. I personally suffer from anxiety and depression and get constantly asked, what does it feel like? And the only way to describe an inexpressible or animate feeling is being stuck in a never ending maze with your thoughts and no exit. 1 in 4 people will experience this throughout a lifetime because mental illness has become an emotion. Mental illness is not really deemed necessary, so to help prevent them from committing unforgivable acts or what we think is the only way out is to help understand. For example, having weekly or monthly checkups and easy access for resources like counseling or other sources, and making seeking treatment a requirement if diagnosed. Mental illness cannot be seen with the naked eye, so the real question is going to be asked, is it real? Obama stated in his speech roughly three-quarters of mental illness emerged by the age of 24, but only 40% seek treatment. Only half of the population is seeking treatment, hence why is suicide outnumbering all deaths combined of lungs, heart, kidney, and even cancer. Elson and his colleagues believe that effective suicide prevention strategies must be acknowledged and that risk is multifractional, despite it resulting in it being a personal choice of them seeing it as the only way out. The world has multiplied along with the social issues and are rising. Social media can be used as a good platform to address delicate topics to the youth and people watching, translating over that mental illness is very real and does not mean crazy, but rather help break the silence and not letting people feel like mental illness is a burden or isolation. 13 Reasons Why was a good controversial show and sparked a lot of delicate topics like rape, suicide, drugs, and violence because it spotlighted very serious issues that no one wanted to talk about. We all know that it is a real epidemic, but how do we see the signs? The signs are not always visible as someone being sick because it's more mental than physical. We are all wired the same, but programmed very differently. Taught the basics of universal emotions because universal emotions are only six characterized emotions that we all know that are fear, disgust, anger, sadness, happiness, and surprise. Those are only six facial expressions that we can identify, and they have shown to be inadequately representative of the cultural space of emotions because it neglects fundamental emotions such as shame, pride, or guilt, the ones that you cannot see, making it very obvious to our emotions because we don't know the superficial way of seeing it. So that's why not many people know what it looks like. And not many people are gonna know what it looks like to have a mental illness because they will see a happy person. Not only is it not seen, but it is passed down. Mental illness can be inherited from parents if suffering and not treated. Kimberly Wilson from the Stanford did a study saying that the prevalence of the disorder among individuals who have a family member with the disorder is more than likely 5 times greater than among individuals with no family history. For instance, children are like sponge absorbing everything from the parents' behaviors to the expression. So obviously a child that is being demonstrated the same patterns are going to mimic it. From personal experience, I grew up in a not so affectionate family and made it hard to express how I felt, especially seeing my father drink away his feelings and not even make much facial expressions. I reciprocated the same to the world. Thousands of people with mental illness are misdiagnosed, and that is worse than being treated. not only is being misunderstood but highly misdiagnosed. Doctors that see you having loss of focus, low energy, and sadness will assume that you are not only depressed right off the bat but give you antidepressants and keep you very sedated. The first thought that the doctor is that you know what he's doing. So it's more than likely that one is not going to argue with someone who spent their last 10 years studying that. And there's a study that shows that about 87% do not argue with the doctor because they are trained professionals. So that's a real issue. The only way that we can overcome this is being open minded about mental illness, and it is a first step because it is a multifactorial effort to try and stop mental illness from leading to suicide. Furthermore, educating the world about them will help them understand the severity by providing the resources needed. Lastly, having everyone do a wellness exam once a year or a month can help prevent people from not feeling so alone because it will become a socially acceptable trend.